Hey, what's up, y'all? I am currently on my way to some motorcycle training. I've already been to this course. I've taken it in, I think, 2023, something like that. I don't know, I'll put the date when I last took it. It's the Ride Like a Pro course. Very popular course. I don't need to take it. It's a military thing. You have to recertify yourself on advanced rider courses every couple years, and I'm good for like 5 years out. I'll take these courses because they're fun, and I like going in circles at slow speed anyway, so I might as well go practice, especially if it's free. I think it's an all-military course. My wing unit installation, however you want to put it, bought out the course, and or as many seats as possible, so it should be all military folks today. We're going to be in civilian clothes, but you don't care about any of that. Either way, since it's a requirement, the installation pays for it, so our riders are riding safe on base, and me as a motorcycle safety representative, I get to go for free because I can't. Anyway, I like these courses. They're fun. I took the advanced rider course from Harley, I think about a year ago. It's very similar in nature, just different styles of teaching, but for the most part, the goal is safety and slow speed control. So I don't know how I'm going to put the video together. Might have already overlaid some stuff. I don't know, because I've just been yapping. Anyway, I'm about to pull up to the course. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully they let me record. They let me record last time, so if I get some good clips, I'll probably individualize them, or mash them up in a big ass potluck in this video, or a proceeding video, pre, before, pro, after, proceeding. Anywho, I'm going to practice. I'll catch you in a minute.
Most of these motorcycles have a computer they need to reset. Come over here and put the jiffy stand down or the kickstand and make sure you're in first gear. Why do you want to do that? How many parts of motorcycles is neutral? Oh, here. Not here, but I'm not. Park them in first gear. You know why? That's right, you don't have a parking brake. So there's nothing that says you have to park it in neutral. The startup procedure for Michigan for a motorcycle safety is find C, fuel ignition, neutral, engine cutoff switch. But we're not telling you to park it in neutral. So that's one of those things. So it's in gear. What you want to do after you're done swearing at yourself, you take a seat. Now the sport bikes might be a little different, but you want to be square. Your feet should be about the same spread of your shoulders, but the whole idea behind this is keeping your back straight. You don't lift with your arms. Bring the handlebar in, I squeeze the front brake, I can grab this right here. And I take little baby steps backwards, pushing into the seat. Whoop, just like that. Then, I always do this. Why? What do you think? Motorcycles are designed to be parked with their handlebars turned full lock left, because I can stand on it. It's not going anywhere. But if I turn it, I park it like this, gangster style. His young son could tip this over. And I'll tell you a story. Cliff and I did a class at the Harley dealer years ago. A bunch of new riders. And I said, so how many have their own motorcycle? And a few hands went up. This one young lady was standing there. I said, what do you have? She goes, a Sportster. You don't look too excited. I remember a time in my life, I'd have killed for a Sportster. I mean, really, that was the, you knew you reached. She goes, well, my husband said, I love when that happens. My husband, is he an instructor? Well, no, he's been riding for 30 years. Has he ever had a class? Well, no, he's got 30 years experience. Like the phrase Jerry Palladino coined, what he's really got is 1 year's experience repeated 30 times. I said, well, what motorcycle did you want? You know, I wanted that soft-tailed deluxe. My husband said it's too heavy for a girl. I said, can he deadlift 750 pounds? Probably not. Okay? So I went over and sat on him. I showed her, I said, do this. Now look. Look how easy it comes off the side skin. Okay? She looked at me. I said, that's all it takes. She came back after she graduated a couple weeks later, sold the Sportster and bought the Deluxe and took her husband.
All right, so we're going to talk about stopping on a motorcycle, the proper way to stop, and then we're going to practice it a little bit, okay? As far as Gary and I'm concerned, if you've been here before, I know 2 of you have, you've heard this spiel, but if you don't know how to properly stop a motorcycle, you might as well not even take this class. Because this is the one thing that will most likely save your bacon out here, okay? Because it's an obstacle avoidance technique. We talk about stopping, we think, okay, well, we stop at a traffic light, we stop at a stop sign. That's true, but that's a controlled stop. We got advance notice, right? But when a deer runs out in front of you, or the kid runs out, or the ball comes out, or a barrel comes out in front of you, since it is barrel season in Michigan, you usually don't get a notice. So everything's got to happen like this, right? So we got to make sure we know what we're doing. So when we come to a stop, we need to use our brakes, right? And how many sets of brakes are on a motorcycle? 2, front and rear. Does everybody agree with that? Everybody has that. They sound stupid, but we've had students that have no front brakes.
Why'd you take the front brake off? Because it didn't look cool. I swear to God.
True story.
So we want to use both sets of brakes. Yes, sir.
Well, technically you can have 3. You can use engine braking too.
Pardon?
You can use engine braking too, right?
You can use engine braking under the proper scenario. The engine braking is not to make you stop. It's to make you slow down. Big difference. If you have a deer pull out in front of you, do you really think you want to downshift and let off on the clutch and go, If the deer pulls out in front of you, what do you want to do? You want to come to a stop right now, right? So don't think of engine braking as a stopping technique. It's a slowing down technique. When would I use it? I would use it if I was on Hall Road and the light's turning ahead of me. It's green, but I see it go yellow. I may downshift and use engine braking to slow me down. I would still tap the brakes. Why would I do that?
Brake light indicator.
Brake lights, right? You want the guy behind you, the lady behind you, know that you're slowing down. If you're using engine braking and don't use your brakes, there is no indication that you're slowing down. And if there's no indication, there's a real good likelihood between that and the cell phone that they're looking at that you become a hoodlum. We don't like that either, right? So I'm glad you brought that up. It usually comes up somewhere in the class,
Yep.
but engine braking is not it.
One more thing I might add, that if you took MSF, you probably learned this but forgot it. What's the purpose of shifting gears? It's simple, to match engine speed to road speed, okay? Same thing, if you're coming down for a red light, you want to downshift from 4th to 3rd. But normally, like Cliff and I, when we ride, there's a red light, we're coming up to it. I squeeze the clutch in, I do the biker tap dance, but I don't let it out. Because it's, what is it, cheaper to replace brake pads in the clutch?
Cheaper to replace brake pads in the transmission.
In the transmission.
So, transmission replacement is $2,500, $3,000. Brake pads are $60. You tell me what you want to do. To me, brake pads is the answer. All right, so we're stopping using both sets of brakes. Everybody agrees on that, right? How much stopping power is in the front?
70%.
70? You hear anything else? You can't answer. You can't answer. You've heard this. Anybody else? On these big motors, and even on your sport bikes, you got 2 rotors up front. You got at least 90% of your stopping powers in the front of this motorcycle. So by all means, wouldn't you want to use the front brake if something jumped out in front of you? But yet, I'm sure you know riders that say never use the front brake, right? You're going to crash. Luckily, we get more educated riders now. However, they're still not using the front brake correctly. So the message is use your front brake coming to a stop. You're going to use your rear, but use your front. Gary kind of mentioned this before, but when we use the front brake, we're going to put all of our fingers on this brake lever, okay? Whether you have 3 or 6, I don't care. All your fingers go on the brake lever. I'm going to show you why.
This isn't a finger.
Don't, that's a thumb. These are fingers.
Just for clarification.
So Gary's going to use 2 fingers, like, we're on sport bikes, maybe even on trail bikes, trail riding. We'll use 2 fingers on the brake, okay? That's a totally different style of riding. We're riding on the road. We're not riding in dirt track. If you use 2 fingers and you have to squeeze all you can get out of this brake, he's getting all he can get. See where he's at? That's all he can get out of that brake, right? Now watch what happens when he puts 4 fingers on it. Which do you want if you're about to run into the back end of the car? You want all of it, don't you?
You want it all.
Secondly, if his 2 fingers, do 2 fingers in, he's doing this, I can tell you, just looking at statistics, the odds are if you crash, you're probably going to go on the right side first. What do you think will hit the ground first?
The handlebar.
The lever.
Lever.
What do you think will hit the ground second?
Fingers.
2 fingers, right? You're either going to break or get severed. So use 4 fingers, squeeze it all the way in. Notice I didn't say grab, it's a progressive squeeze. Once you start squeezing, you don't let up. Hold your demo a minute. All right, we're going to do an exercise that has 2 parts. The way we run this is very similar. You've all probably taken an MSF course somewhere, correct? We start basic and work our way up, okay? So this is the basic braking. There's going to be a green cone over here. I don't know if you can see it through my motorcycle, but there's a green cone over there. That's the starting point. I'll be standing there with you, okay? I will release you. You don't go when you want to go. I tell you when to go, okay? And Gary's going to be on the other end. When we release you from the cone, it's first gear, second gear, 15 to 20 mile an hour, level out. How do you know if you're going 15, 20 mile an hour?
Speedometer.
Speedometer. Everybody's speedometer work? Okay, it's a quick glance. You don't need to stare at it, just a quick glance. Okay, level out. As Gary mentioned, when your tire reaches the 2,
Yeah, they're out there.
oh, I see them down there. Okay, so there's 2 cones down there. When your front tire reaches those cones, you start your braking procedure. Clutch, brakes, downshift, looking straight ahead, okay? Don't look at Gary, he's not that good looking. Look straight ahead. What happens if you start looking at Gary as you're coming to a stop?
Start going.
You're going to start drifting that way, you're going to start leaning this way, and then you'll get what Gary said was a...
Sudden and dramatic horizontal view change.
Okay, we don't want that. Look straight ahead, come to a stop. Say 1,000. Once you do that, then you can look at Gary, okay? What we'd like for you to try to practice as you're doing this braking procedure, when you get almost stopped, almost stopped, left foot goes down, right foot stays on the brake. Rear brake, okay? Left foot down, right foot stays on the brake. You're stopped. 1/1000. Release the front brake, put your hand on the handrest, keep your right foot on the rear brake. Part 1, one more time. First gear, second gear. Clutch, brakes, downshift, look the mirrors. Go, okay? Now, Gary will give you correction down there. All right, good. You been practicing any?
All the time.
Good for you, brother. I love it. Getting better?
Yeah. I actually am.
Hey, look, if this was easy, everybody would do it.
Right.
It's not easy. It takes time. I mean, this week, okay, you've seen me ride. I know how to ride. But this week, I got a really, really, really hard pattern that I would guess if 10% of the national competitors can do what I'm doing, that's huge, right?
Right.
I've been practicing all week just on that pattern to get perfection, right?
Yes, sir.
It's hard. I'm
Yeah.
70 years old. I'm competing against guys your age. It's a bitch, right? But I can still do it
Yeah.
because you bake in the right techniques. But I've done this for so many years that things that you're learning, they're now habits for me.
Right.
But if I start fucking up, you know what I do? I go back to the basics.
Same.
Exactly what we're talking about. Work my way through it again, okay?
Yep.
So don't get discouraged. Keep doing it, man.
I will.
You know, and if you can find somebody to train with, that's even more helpful. Because even if they're not an instructor, if they've been through classes too, they have some idea, they can help you if you think you're doing something and you're really not doing it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the hardest thing to do is critique yourself, isn't it?
Yeah.
I find it hard.
It's my worst trait.
Yeah. Okay, you're up.
All right.
Okay, hot rod. Remember what Cliff said, when you take off, you shift to second gear?
Yeah.
Hand back on here, you were on the clutch all the way.
Oh.
You've never left the clutch
Okay.
because you're anticipating. That's human nature.
Yep.
So what we want to do, and remember too, once you shift the second gear, you stabilize the speed about 15 to 20. We want a steady speed. Don't accelerate and then brake.
Okay.
That's not what we're doing. We want to simulate you're just cruising. Everything's good. Whoa! Stop.
Got it.
How'd you do down there?
Did all right. Anticipation. My normal riding style versus practice style. I gotta get that out.
We're changing some bad habits, right? And it may not even be bad habits, just different habits once you get in there, right? Yep. Just be patient with it. Keep trying. Go. Brakes, downshift, car, go! See where he's stopping? That's where you want to stop. You don't have to be straight in there. Just get out of the way of that rear fender of the car, okay? Just mimic. See what she's doing? See if she does this. A little timid, but she'll get better. Clutch, brake, stop. Car, go! Go left. Stop. Good. All right, that's all we're doing. You've done this before, you can do it. Look at her, big smile. I don't even have to see her face. Big smile. All right, buddy, you're up.
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He gave you a thumbs up?
He did.
Okay.
First try.
You sure that was a thumb?
Hey, it's pretty thick, so I think it was a thumb.
Go.
Control, throttle control, rear brake control. Did I mention front brake? No. Slow speed riding, we don't use front brake. If you use the front brake in slow speed riding, what happens, Gary?
What's that?
Front brake in slow speed riding.
Again, sudden and dramatic horizontal view change.
Okay, we don't want that, all right?
And you will go down, and you're not.
Quickly.
Your spindly little leg isn't going to hold up 700 pounds. It isn't going to happen.
For the clutch control, in slow speed riding, you're in the friction zone. Does everybody understand what the friction zone is? The clutch is not fully disengaged, it's not fully engaged. If 0 is disengaged, 5 is engaged, you're somewhere between 2 and 4, okay? You might have to find on your motorcycle where that's at, but that's the friction zone. You're going to be in there. Do not worry about burning up your clutch, okay? Actually, the clutch in my motorcycle is 2 years old. It was 2 years old in April, and believe me, if any clutch should be burnt out, that clutch should be burnt out, because that motorcycle does.
I even find it hard to believe it's 2 years old.
It's because I know how to ride. Believe me, people that are just getting into this and try to do this stuff, they're burning the clutch out every 3 months. You guys will not burn your clutches out. We won't even let you do that. So it's all about control. So you're in a friction zone. Next thing is the throttle. On the big bikes, you're going to be humming around 1500 RPM, give or take a little bit. I think most of you have a tachometer. Do you have a tachometer? Okay. Use this, okay? If that motor, even on the sport bikes, if that motor is sounding, it's too much throttle. It should be low. It should just be humming, right? All right. Rear brake. The technique we just taught you. You cover the outer 1/3 of your rear brake, applying a little pressure. You want to apply enough pressure that you feel that motor feels like it's dragging a little bit as you're easing that clutch out, okay? If you're not dragging, feeling that pressure, then you're not on the brake enough. Why do we do that? Because it stabilizes the suspension. It kind of mimics going at a higher speed and makes the suspension more stable. Okay? With the clutch in the friction zone and doing these exercises, the other thing that changes in your head is your speed control. When we're out on the highway, basically two things control our speed: throttle and shifting gears. Everybody agree with that? You can only go so fast in third gear, but if you go to fourth gear, you can go faster. Everybody agree? You can only go so fast at idle. But if I gear that thing up to 3,000 RPM or 5,000 RPM, I go a hell of a lot faster, right? Here, we're trying to keep our speed, our throttle steady, okay, 1,500, 2,000 RPM. The clutch is controlling our speed. The more we let it out, the faster we go. The more we bring it in, the slower we go, right? And the brake is kind of like the finessing of it, okay? Does that make sense so far? And we're going to find out. All right, so here's what's going to happen. You guys are going to follow Gary around this parking lot. You're going to be in friction zone, steady throttle, about 1,500, 2,000 RPMs. You're going to be steady on the rear brake, okay? I would like to see about 3 motorcycle lengths between you and the person in front of you. Stated differently, that's 3 parking spaces, okay? Minimally 3 parking spaces. We got room for 4 or 5. That's fine. If you want to use 4 or 5, use 4 or 5. But we don't want to see you bunched up, okay? There's no need. We only got 6 motors. 7. So, stay apart. Gary's going to set the pace. It's like a fast walking pace, okay? It's kind of the speed we're going to mimic when we get into these exercises. As you're going around the parking lot, I'll be doing an assessment of how you're doing. What do you think is one of the first things I'll look at as you're going around?
Where you're looking.
Where you're looking, okay, what else? Hand on the front brake, no front brake, hand, no front brake, remember?
Right.
So we don't want to do that, we want it on the throttle, right? What else would I be looking for? What's the 3 things we got to use in this exercise?
Brake light.
Brake lights, you got it.
That's
Be
easy.
looking for your brake lights. If you're not using enough for your brake lights aren't on, right? Or, and we found this a lot, we might be telling you your brake lights aren't working. I mean, how many of you checked your lights before you came in today? Okay, yeah, I did. How many did our tire pressure checks yesterday or today? How many checked your tire pressures? Good, okay. That's something you should do all the time. I mean, I check mine once a week minimally. And it's not unusual, especially with this weather, with cool and hot, you get a 3 to 5 pound variance in your tire pressures. So always check them cold, but check your tire pressure. we're teaching you today will seem illogical. Quite frankly, riding a motorcycle, there's nothing logical when you ride a motorcycle. For example, if you're going into a curve, a left-hand curve, what grip do you press on? Left-hand curve, what grip do you press on? Huh? Right?
Push left.
Push forward in the air.
Push left.
You press the left grip, what's that doing to your handlebars? Makes them turn right, doesn't it? But you're going into a left-hand curve. Shouldn't I be turning like this? No, you shouldn't. You press on the left. Is it logical? No, it's not.
And why do you press like that?
Gyroscopic precession.
What he said. No, it's actually to initiate lean. And you want it to lean left when you're going left. So.
Yeah.
You familiar with MotoGP? You ever watch it?
No, never watched it.
Take the time to watch it one time, and all I want you to do is focus on those guys going into their curves. They'll go into a left-hand curve, and that front tire will be turned all the way like this. Okay? It's very pronounced. And you're thinking, wow, they should be going right, but they're not. They're going left. Okay? So, motorcycling is not intuitive. That's why we have to have somebody tell us what we need to do, right? Okay. So, we're going to take that same thing we just did, that rate of speed, maybe even a little bit slower, and we're going into this next exercise. Everybody see this straight line of cones behind me? Yeah, it's pretty damn straight. You did a good job. See? One cone just a little bit off. That was, I'm sure that was a computer issue.
Oh, that was my GPS.
Oh, okay. Well, they move. So, we have a straight line cone weave. If it means anything to you, they're 15 feet apart. Whatever that means. All right? The object is not to not hit the cones. The object is to get this technique. Okay? So we're going to go through these cones and we're going to go to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. We're weaving around the cones. Pretend each cone is the back end of a car, a fender. You just want to go around that fender and get around and get to the next one. Okay? Come here with me. When you start, where Gary's motorcycle is, when you start, at that point, it's friction zone, steady throttle, foot on the rear brake. Okay? You don't start that technique here. It starts there, before you get into the exercise. You come up here, we're going to go to the right of this cone. So we're coming through this gate. Okay? If I come in with my front tire right here, what's going to happen to this cone? Hit by the back tire. Pardon? Hit by the back tire. Going to get hit by the back end, right? With the saddlebags, back tire, whatever. We got to go around. So really, we need to bring our front tire up here because the rear end always tracks inside the turn. So if I'm turning to the left, the rear end's going to be in here, front tire will be out here. So we're coming around this way. Head and eyes are up. We're always looking straight ahead. I'm coming in here like this. Friction zone, steady throttle, rear brake. I want to go where Gary is. Everybody see where Gary's at? So at this point, I'm already looking at Gary. It just so happens he's not going to be there when you come through here because he's watched you ride. He don't want to be there, right? Everybody get it? Okay. See behind Gary that light pole back there toward the building? See the three handicap parking signs? There's a light pole. I kind of look for that light pole. I'm looking here. Now I'm coming up here. I'm going to go around this way. I come up about this point here. Now I'm coming over to where Gary's at. Now I'm turning over here. I'm using the same pace. I'm going 3 to 4 feet outside the cone every time. Make sense? Friction zone, steady throttle, rear brake.
Like Cliff said, when you're done, you're going to ride around and get back in line. I'm going to turn around down there and I'm going to come back at you so you can see what it looks like. All right, ready, set, go.
Go. Throttle, clutch, brake. See how his brake lights are on all the time? Turning the handlebars. Barely leaning the motorcycle, right? He'll turn around and come back this way just so you can see it from the front. looking at, okay? Look at that. I'm impressed. That's all right. That's okay. You just got out of our little rhythm. It takes a rhythm to get this. Okay, buddy, go ahead. Don't rev it so high.
Okay.
All right. Well, yep, you've been practicing. Good. A lot better. But too slow. Interesting exhaust.
Yeah. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. I think you can go ahead. Nice work. Nice work. Yeah, good. Go. Needs to go a little faster. She's still timid, but she's got good balance.
Yeah.
Thank God for you. All right, get her.
Got it.
We mentioned this earlier. What are these things called?
Rest.
Pardon?
Rest.
Hand rest, right? I'll show you why. If you do a hand grip, by saying grip, it automatically says get a hold of that sucker, right? If Gary gets a hold of that, what happens to his arm? It
Tenses
gets
up.
stiff, right? What happens to the shoulder? It gets stiff. What happens to the back? It gets stiff. So now, if you try to turn the handlebars with a stiff arm, how much are you going to get to turn? Not much, right? No. If you do a hand rest, notice how his arm just automatically relaxed. Now try to turn it. Look at that. See the difference? So you want to just rest your hand on it, even by using the clutch. My thumb is holding my hand on that grip. The clutch is just like this, right? I don't need the death grip.
Hold your hand up, like your right arm, nice and easy. Now, just feel your muscles and make a tight fist. Feel it? It goes all the way to your neck. You want to relax.
All right. Secondly, as you're managing the throttle, you're going like this, right? So if your hand is against this is called a switch pad. You all have that, right? If your hand is against that switch pad, tight, and you're trying to twist the throttle, you just added friction to your twisting, right? It's against the switch pad. Move your hand out. We keep what we call the heel of our hand right out here on the edge. That leaves about an inch or so in between here. Now we're not fighting the switch pad. It's much easier to manage the throttle. It's a little different hand position. I know you sport bike guys have weights on the end. Don't get clear out there because that weight don't turn. You really want to get a hold of this. That's slick, right? It's grip. That's what you want to get onto. Okay. All right. We got that covered. Now let's talk about seat position. These Harleys come. Okay, we'll talk about that. Get back on there. This is the one time that we will say that you're not using all 4 fingers on the grip, but you really are. You just can't see it. There's 4 fingers on here right now. They're all wrapped around this, right? The way we like to do it is we're actually using these 2 fingers here. They're on the grip. These 2 are just going along for the ride. They're just resting on it. These are the only things managing the throttle. What that does is it keeps you from over throttling. Somebody said, well, I want to use the throttle too much. Well, that's part of the reason why you got all these fingers up there managing that, you know. Try doing this. Relax. Relax. Also, as you turn the bars to the left, get your hand on the throttle, you turn the bars to the left. Watch what my hand's doing. What's it doing? Rolling on the throttle, isn't it? What happens if I turn it to the right? I roll off the throttle. So kind of keep an eye on that. You may have to, and I do, I move my hand on my throttle a lot to keep a steady throttle. And that's another reason to have a lighter grip, because then it's easier to manage the throttle. One other thing is seat position. So the Harleys, they come, the seats are way back, even in the sports bike. You're sitting way back, right? Your arms are straight out like this. Your arms are straight out like that. How much can you turn the handlebars? Not a lot, right? So we recommend getting your junk on the tank, okay? They clear up to the front. Now look how you can turn the bars. See the difference?
It's like power steering.
Makes a huge difference. And where's the center of gravity of the motorcycle?
The engine.
Pardon?
Use the engine right under the rider.
So if you're sitting behind the engine, you've changed the center of gravity. You want to get as much as you can over that engine. And the bike balance is so much easier. That's why you need to get that seat right.
Where's Jay's?
Right here.
Jay's riding the Limited with the seat that we have. What we do to compensate for that when we're riding our Limited, we actually have backrests that are adjusted. So when I sit on my Limited, I'm pretty much sitting this way now. And it's more comfortable.
We put an air cushion under too to lift us up a little bit. And that helps you get more up on the horn, or on the tank. And you just manage the bike a lot better. Okay. Any questions? Okay, let's watch a demo. What we're going to do, again, we're going to go off, take a left around this cone. Remember, look, 3, 12, 9, 9, 12, 3, all the way around. Let's watch Gary do this. Friction zone, steady throttle, rear brake. Brake lights all the time. Now he's turning his head, he's looking over here. Motorcycle leaning, not terribly a lot, it's leaning. Doesn't that look easy? Sure. Oh, come on. I can write it one more time, then you guys write it. Back to those positions we talked about. Head, 12, 9, 9, 12, 3, 3, 12, 9, 9, 3. So, okay. Turn your head more. Turn your head to the right. Look over your right shoulder. Over there, because that's where you're looking. What are you smiling about? I remember the first time I did this. Don't look straight. No way. Turn your head from left to right. She'll get it. She just looked like the first time through, and it seemed like a light bulb clicked, and she's good. out, Gary, she does more slowness on the first run, and then she picks it up on the second one. So maybe we can let her get to that second one. She'll do better. All right, you're up, buddy.
Next time. I said I'll switch next time.
I've used those words before.
We're usually golfing.
Yeah, right. Hey, 4-letter word for a 4-letter word. She's doing better, Gary. Just gotta get her to turn the head a little bit more and she'll do better. You know what we need.
Did you see the blue dot out to the right of that cone?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Same way here.
Oh, there. That's where the second cone goes. You try to stay inside that blue dot.
Okay.
Aim your front tire right to that blue dot.
So what I want you to do though, when you come back, and you're behind her, switch places. I want you right in front of her. Huh?
She already asked me to switch.
Yeah, good, because I want her to see how you're riding. Okay, go. addictive. That's what it is.
It is. I do it in random parking lots all the time.
Good. Anybody throw you out yet?
No, I always abandon.
Oh,
You ever seen that cartoon? There's a motorcycle sitting there, and there's two guys and a dog. The guy says, that dog is mean. How can that dog be mean?
Yeah.
The dog sits there, kickstanding.
I love it. I actually got it on my phone. Give me one more. Okay, you can't catch it. Can everybody do U-turns? No? Yeah? I bet you can, but you may need a Walmart parking lot to do it, right? Uh-huh. That's okay. No shame in that. You're with about probably 80% of the population that rides a motorcycle.
The motorcycle can do it.
Right.
Can you?
What is the longest for a U-turn?
Is it 5.5 miles?
I think it is. All right, that's a whole nother story. All right, come up here with me.
You know what they say about tool makers? A bad tool maker will miss it by a couple thousandths. A good one will miss it by an inch.
I like it. All right, so we're going to do a U-turn. So pretend this cone is in the center of the road. All right, we got this white stripes going down the center here, right? A normal standard normal two-lane road is how wide? You want to know?
DOT.
24? 24 feet, that's right, 24 feet, okay? So these cones are 24 feet apart, base to base. It's a standard two-lane road. Now, I don't want to kid you and tell you that all two-lane roads are 24 feet. Out where I live, sometimes you're lucky to get 16 feet. So the reason I tell you that is when you decide that you've missed that road and you got to make a U-turn, the first thing you want to say in your mind is, do I have enough space? The ditch doesn't count. Okay? Have enough space. Don't go off the shoulder. So I'm looking at this and I say, okay, yeah, I got plenty of room here to turn this motorcycle. And I just told you earlier that straight up and down, these big Harleys will turn 19 feet. You sport bike guys can actually turn tighter, and you can turn tighter on yours too. Okay, so 19 feet. So that means, when they did math when I went to school, that means I got 6 extra feet to work with. Everybody agree with that? No. 5. See? They're not thinking at all, are they?
No, they're not. That's a good thing.
All right. So we just showed that the modern math is not working so well. All right. So anyway, we got plenty of extra room. So when we come to do a U-turn, the first mistake people make is say, I got to make a U-turn. I got to immediately get over here to the fog line. Everybody know what the fog line is? It's the white line that goes down the side of the road. That's called a fog line. They come right over here, and now they say, I got to get on this line to make the U-turn. And that's the first mistake. Did we do any straight lines over here? No, we did teardrops, right? Why do you think we did that? Because we were setting you up to learn how to do U-turns. So the first thing you want to do is say, I got to do a teardrop. So if I'm riding here, I know that I got to make a teardrop. So I'll be riding here, I'll start coming over, nice easy teardrop. Come over here. Now, around in here somewhere is my 3 o'clock position. Remember 3 o'clock over there? Or applying it here. Get your front tire to the fog line. 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, start looking for 12 noon up here. 12 noon, different from what we did over there. I'm not going to look for 9 o'clock. If I look for 9 o'clock, one of these cones, where do you think I'm going to go?
Right at it.
Probably 9 o'clock, ditch, right? I want to get back to Gary, don't I? So at this point, I'm starting to look at Gary. As I look at Gary, my peripheral shows me I got room of just drifting out.
point, I start easing the clutch out more, little throttle, motorcycle pops right up, and I just come right up. Come back to the center line, go out. Remember over here, and I may say as you get down there, and I'll do this steering, say look at the cliff. Force you to turn your head, right? Watch. Look at the cliff, look at the cliff. See that? Right around. He didn't lean the motorcycle much at all. Is go in, and Gary's going to show you the path of travel. But if you go to the right, you're going to do basically 3 legs of a left-hand U-turn. Everybody see that? Left, up, left, and out, okay? If we come in, go this way, then it's right U-turns. However, when you're doing this, remember, no straight lines, right? Everything's teardrops. It starts right here. I don't just come up here and make a 90-degree turn and follow this wall. It's not going to work. What we want to do is to start our teardrops right here. So if I just where John is at, I come up towards the center cone, about right here, and start turning back. I start at the teardrop, yes. If I come up to this cone up here, coming up this way, now I start my teardrop back. Around this way. Now I'm looking for the center cone. Right back here. So I come up here, now I start turning back and doing a teardrop around this corner. Back up to this cone. We're doing my teardrop there. Looking for that center cone. Back up here, teardrop back. 3, 12, 9.
fast.
I can do that.
I'm not going to tell Cliff. I'm just going to. Concentrate on keeping power to the rear wheel 100% of the time. That's critical. If you squeeze the clutch in and you kill that power, it's like one of those electric air balloons you see flying out front of the car dealerships. Pull the plug on, it's just going to go. Same thing with your motorcycle. You got to keep that speed up. That's why we ride it slow at 7 miles an hour about walking speed, so you can get adjusted and keep that speed going. I know it's intimidating if you haven't really lead your motorcycle. Part of turning is head and eyes, friction zone, managing your throttle, that rear brake, and starting to let the motorcycle lean. It's critical, okay? But again, like I said in the start of the class, one of the hardest things to overcome is your human instincts. That's the tough part. Once you do that, once you practice that, once you get it, to where you lose your intimidation of making a turn and going, where am I? Where am I? Every time you do that, you do this for a second, you take 3 or 4 feet out of your turn. And you're up against the curb or you're off the road. So trust your motorcycle, get that head turning, and keep the power going to the rear wheel. It's all part of the trick, but it takes practice. And we get that. So, like I said, we're looking for technique out here, not perfection. So you're wondering this next exercise. This next exercise kind of brings everything in for us, and we call it the big O of doom. Come on over and look at this. What is it, 45 feet in diameter? 43 feet in diameter. You've been turning 24 feet. Okay, there's 2 cones in the center. You can ride this exercise any direction you choose. You can ride in between these cones, ride through those, go to the left, ride through, go to the right, circle around, make a figure 8 through there. Or you can come in, go this way, all the way around, come in, make a figure 8 through the center. Or you can go to the left. Your choice. I'm going to let Cliff demonstrate kind of the patterns you can ride. That's one way to do it, going up the center.
someone.
file behind me. Wherever I go, you go. If I go over a sewer lid, I go through water, I go on the grass. You follow me, single file line. It's called tracking. Okay? We're going to keep a couple of bike lengths apart, and we're just going to go for a nice ride and kind of wrap this up. It's going to be fun. We're going to go places you haven't seen on the range. Sound good? Okay, we ready? So gear up. Fall in right behind me, single file.
Alright y'all, so as you can see from the video, the Ride Like a Pro course was a success. It was awesome. Gary and Cliff did allow me to record. They didn't record everything just for out of respect for the course, and just like last time, cause I'm not just gonna give you all that stuff for free. I mean, I got it for free, but the wing paid. Somebody paid, so y'all got to pay to get all the stuff. Anyway, I got a lot of nice, neat tips and tricks, the same as last time. Some a little more refined than I was taught before. Maybe they changed their instruction technique for the most part. The class was awesome. Nobody dropped their bikes. We had one little snafu. One of the dudes, his bike died. Luckily for me, I had my jump pack on him, and I ran over and gave him a little assistance. Got him up and running, and he was good to go. Of course, I was teacher's pet because I have practice, and they did remember me. After we talked for a bit, they was like, "Oh yeah, you've been here before. I remember you." And I happened to help them with a few drills and demonstrations because, I was the best rider in the class because I practiced, because I've taken the course before, and because it's fun for me. I enjoy doing this stuff. So I did have a leg up. I, of course, did mess up. Not a golden child. I dropped the foot right at the end of the course. Kind of pissed me off, but at the same time, hey, that's life. That's why I'm at the course, to practice. And overall, it was awesome. Some folks did the ham bone, did what the course was meant to do. They learned, and they were humbled by their lack of skill and their need to improve, and all they wanted to do towards the end of the course was go, damn, I wish I had this course earlier because it would have made me a better rider today, right? Which is cool. Some folks will probably come back and get more tutelage, more instruction. Some folks, most of them are military, so they can call me because they are located in the same wing that I am. The rest, dude wants me to do a wheelie. The rest were either Leos or fire, law enforcement officers, or fire department. There were no straight civilians there this time. What did I say? Everything went well. Did some drills. The video's probably extremely long because I didn't know how to structure it, and I put the clips together. I will break them out individually for the various other smaller attention span social media platforms, but for the YouTubes, you're getting the whole thing because I don't feel like editing all that crap out. Anywho, I suggest everyone take the Ride Like a Pro course or a comparable course. Get them skills up, maintain them skills, because they said, just like I have before, because I learned it from them and I learned it from myself, this is a diminishable skill. If you don't use it, you will lose it. So everybody else got tired, they want to go home. I'm going to go for a ride because I'm well conditioned, because I do this crap all the time, and I'm not sore, tender, or cramped at all. So I'm gonna ride. Y'all enjoy the video, or have enjoyed the video already, and I'm out.
Okay. See, this is the stock motorcycle. The stock pulley seat. Cliff and I both have risers in the back. Okay. Straighten your back out and put